All right, let's take a trip, a grand tour of our solar system. Now, forget all those dry facts you might have memorized in school. We're about to get up close and personal with the incredible and honestly, sometimes terrifying worlds that are our cosmic neighbors. So let's jump right in.
So, I've got a question for you. How well do you really know our cosmic neighbors? I mean, beyond just knowing the names and their order from the sun. We're talking about worlds of fire, ice, crushing pressure. The scale is just mind-boggling. We're about to find out just how bizarre and how beautiful our own cosmic backyard really is.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We're breaking this tour down into three main parts. First up, we're going to check out the inner rocky worlds. Then, we'll journey out to the giant planets. And to wrap it all up, we'll take a look at our place in the cosmos. Simple as that.
So let's kick things off in the inner solar system. This is the home of the terrestrial planets. You know, the ones that are solid rocky worlds, kind of like Earth. But as you're about to see, that's pretty much where the similarities end.
So what exactly are terrestrial planets? Well, it's pretty straightforward. It just means they're made up of rock and metal. They've got a core, a mantle, a crust, the whole deal. So in theory, you could actually stand on them. If, and that's a big if, you could survive the absolutely insane conditions.
All right, first stop, Mercury, the little guy closest to the sun. And let me tell you, this place is a world of absolute extremes. When the sun's out, the surface gets cooked to a blistering 430 degrees Celsius. But then, because there's basically no atmosphere to trap any of that heat, the temperature just plummets at night, all the way down to a bone-chilling minus 180 degrees. Talk about whiplash.
And get this, Mercury's sense of time is just, well, it's bizarre. A whole year, one trip around the sun, takes only 88 Earth days. That's super fast, right? But a single day on Mercury, just one rotation, lasts for 58 Earth days. Let that sink in. Its day is literally 2/3 as long as its entire year. How wild is that?
And its gravity? Super weak. So let's say you weigh 220 pounds here on Earth. On Mercury, you'd feel like you only weigh 84 pounds. You could probably jump almost 3 times higher than you can here. Pretty cool. Okay, next up we're heading over to Venus. People call it Earth's toxic twin because they're about the same size. But if you thought Mercury's timing was weird, you haven't seen anything yet. On Venus, a single day lasts 243 Earth days. But its year is only 225 days long. Yeah, you heard that right. A day on Venus is actually longer than its year.
But that's not even the most shocking thing about this place. No way. This is 465 degrees Celsius. That's the average temperature on the surface. So yeah, forget what you thought about Mercury. Venus is by far the hottest planet in our solar system. We're talking hot enough to melt lead. It's an absolute furnace.
So you might be asking, why is it so ridiculously hot? It's farther from the sun than Mercury is. Well, the answer is kind of a chilling cautionary tale for us. See, Venus is wrapped in this incredibly thick, crushing atmosphere made of carbon dioxide. Imagine putting on the heaviest blanket you can find, a blanket that lets heat in but absolutely refuses to let it out. The heat gets trapped, and the temperature just keeps climbing. That's what we call a runaway greenhouse effect, and it's turned the whole planet into a non-stop, hellish oven. Phew, okay, after visiting that inferno, it's nice to be back at our home port, Earth. The one place we know of that has liquid water on the surface, an atmosphere we can actually breathe, and this just stunning diversity of life. When you think about it, it really is an oasis in the vast, harsh emptiness of space.
All right, for our final step in the inner solar system, let's head over to Mars, the famous red planet. Now, it's a cold, dusty place for sure, but here's something that feels kind of familiar. A day on Mars is 24.6 hours long. That's almost exactly the same as a day here on Earth.
And just like Mercury, its gravity is pretty weak. We're talking only about 38% of Earth's pull. So that same 220-pound person we talked about earlier, on Mars they'd weigh just 83 pounds. You'd feel incredibly light bouncing around that rusty red landscape.
Okay, everybody, buckle up. We are now leaving the rocky inner planets behind. We're crossing the asteroid belt and heading out into the realm of the giants. And these guys, they are a completely different kind of world. Colossal, mysterious, and just awesome to behold.
So what's the big difference out here? Well, the main thing is these giants don't have a solid surface. You can't stand on them. They're basically just massive swirling balls of gas and different kinds of fluids. Trying to land on a planet like Jupiter would be like trying to land on a cloud. There's just nothing there to land on.
And our first stop out here has to be the undisputed king of the planets, Jupiter. This gas giant is just immense. It's so big, it's 11 times the diameter of Earth. And of course, you can't miss its most famous feature, the Great Red Spot. That's a storm, a colossal hurricane that has been raging for hundreds of years, and it's bigger than our entire planet. Just think about that.
That sheer size means Jupiter has some seriously powerful gravity. If you weigh, say, 100 pounds on Earth, you'd feel like you weigh 240 pounds just at the top of Jupiter's cloud layers. The pull is 2.4 times stronger than what we're used to here at home. It would feel incredibly heavy.
Moving on, we come to what might just be the most breathtaking planet in the whole system, Saturn. I mean, look at it. Famous for those magnificent rings made of ice and rock, it's another gas giant, yeah. But here's a little surprise for you. Its gravity is actually pretty similar to Earth's, just a little bit stronger. Kind of weird, right?
Okay, now we're really heading out there, to the far frigid edges of our solar system. It's time to meet the ice giants, Uranus and Neptune. See, Jupiter and Saturn were mostly hydrogen and helium gas, but these two worlds are different. They're made of heavier stuff, things like water, methane, and ammonia, which astronomers call ices. And that methane in particular is what gives them that beautiful, distinct blue color.
And that brings us to our final planetary stop on this tour, Neptune. This is the coldest, windiest planet in the entire solar system. We're talking storms that can get as big as our whole planet. And here's one last surprise for you. Its gravity is also super similar to ours. A 100-pound person would only weigh about 114 pounds there. Pretty amazing for a giant planet.
And that's it. Our grand tour is complete. We've gone from the scorching hot inner worlds all the way out to the deep freeze of the outer system. So, after all that, what have we learned? What's the big takeaway from this cosmic road trip?
Well, the reality is pretty stark. Our solar system, as beautiful and diverse as it is absolutely filled with worlds that are completely and utterly hostile to life as we know it. We're talking crushing pressures, toxic atmospheres, and temperatures that are just beyond extreme. These places are, to put it mildly, not friendly.
And this whole journey, it really brings us to a powerful conclusion. It really gives you this deep sense of appreciation for our own planet, right? Because just knowing that the conditions on Earth can even support life at all, well, when you see what else is out there, it feels like nothing short of a miracle.
So I'll leave you with this to think about. After seeing the violent storms on Jupiter, the toxic furnace of Venus, and the cold, dusty plains of Mars, what does all of that teach us about our own unique and incredibly fragile home? In a solar system that is defined by extremes, we are living on the